two familiar foes face off in the SEC title game in what looks to be one of the more exciting SEC matchups of the season. Alabama will take on Georgia, a team that Alabama has kind of had Georgia's number over the last couple of seasons, but when it comes to the SEC championship, that's where Georgia has really succeeded. This is going to be a really fun head-to-head battle, and in today's video, we will talk about the strengths, weaknesses, and overall schematic advantages each team has going into this title game. Leave a like on this video, let me know who you think is going to win, but let's go ahead and kick this off on the Georgia offense. Georgia had a lot of question marks on the offensive side of the ball coming into this year with how last season went. They had a new starting quarterback, an offensive line that really underperformed in 2024, and a lot of question marks at receiver. And I think Georgia has done a really great job at answering every single question. Gunnar Stockton is having a really strong season, and I don't think the box score is really going to showcase his talent. 2,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Stockton hasn't been this elite, big-time throw, big arm type of quarterback, but he's been exactly what Georgia needs and what Georgia has had when they've won national championships in the past. He is a good game manager. He doesn't really put the ball in harm's way. He takes good care of the football, but I also think he elevates this offense because of what he is able to do with his legs. Stockton is a rushing threat that this team didn't really have over the last couple of seasons, and he leads the Bulldogs in touchdowns on the ground with 8. He's got nearly 500 yards rushing, and I think with his ability to make plays with his legs, it really opens up this offense in a lot of different ways on the RPO game. Running back Nate Frazier has been awesome for them this season. He's got 809 yards and 5 touchdowns, and he's coming off a couple of really big weeks where he had 108 yards against Georgia Tech, 181 yards against Mississippi State a couple of weeks ago, and this is a player that has all of the talent in the world, and it feels like he is finally starting to come into his own. The other big question Georgia had to answer was their receiving core. Was it going to be better? A group that was plagued with drops last year. And while they haven't utilized the receivers as much as I would have liked to see, this is a group that is playing really well. Zachariah Branch is leading this team in receiving. His gadget ability and his speed make him such an enticing player, and it makes it a matchup nightmare for Alabama. Noah Thomas has had a couple of really big weeks. They get the ball to Colby Young and Dylan Bell, and I think the tight ends in Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky both have the potential to make big plays for this team. I love this receiving group, and they have really cleaned up on the drops this season, which plagued them a year ago. Overall, I think this is an offensive line that's playing better. They have a quarterback that I think is looking solid, and I'm not too worried about what this team has going for them right now. On the defensive side of the ball, it's a bit of a different story than the Georgia teams we've seen in years prior. They are excellent at defending the run with star defensive tackle Christian Miller, linebacker C.J. Allen, safety K.J. Bolden. This is a group that gets after it. They plug holes in the run game. They are able to make stops. They are one of the best run defending units in the entire country. But where I think you could see some struggles for Georgia in this game is their pass rush. This is a group that doesn't have a player off the edge that has more than 20 pressures this season. Gabe Harris is the defensive end that is leading them with 19, and they don't have a single player on this team with over 5 sacks. So I do have question marks on if they are going to be able to get after Ty Simpson in this one, because Alabama doesn't like to run the football, which we'll get to in a second, but I do worry about the pass defense of Georgia, and I think the coverage is something to monitor in this one. The linebacker unit isn't the greatest in coverage, and I do think Dalen Everett, with the lack of speed, there could be some chances for Ryan Williams to burn him vertically. So definitely some things I'm looking out for on the Georgia defense, but Alabama's offense is really exciting to watch as well. Ty Simpson's having a phenomenal season, and while he has cooled off over the last couple of weeks, he had a really big bounce back game against Auburn where he showcased the touch that he can throw with, he showcased the composure under pressure, and he made good decisions with the football. This is a player with over 75.7 adjusted completion percentage this year, and he's been a huge part of Alabama's success this year. This is a team that has really leaned on Ty Simpson this season because they haven't been able to run the ball. Jam Miller has been their best rusher this season, but he went out in the Auburn game and his status is a little bit up in the air, but their leading rusher doesn't even have 500 yards this year. So I think it is going to come down to Ty Simpson's arm and this receiving group that I like, but there are question marks with. There's no doubt. Jeremy Bernard has been the most consistent of their three receivers. Isaiah Horton looks nice, but Ryan Williams has to be the X factor in this game for Alabama. He has had some pretty quiet performances as of late and has 8 drops on the season, which is a pretty abysmal number. But he is a player with the talent and the speed that I think can challenge these Georgia defensive backs vertically, which the speed in the secondary is one of my biggest question marks with this Georgia defense. On the offensive line, I think Alabama is set. I like what we've seen from their guys, but I do worry about Caden Proctor and the heaviness on his feet. I think there is some opportunity for these pass rushers of Georgia, while they haven't had a lot of success this year, to get after Caden Proctor. The defense of Alabama is really, really solid, I think. Very similarly to that of Georgia, this is a unit that I don't really feel like has a consistent pass rusher. Yanze Pierre has really stepped up as of late. He's got 35 pressures and 5 sacks this season. LT Overton is more of a run-setting edge rusher. Keon Keeley has made some splash plays, but this is a group that doesn't really have a consistent pass rushing force, and I do think that that could give Gunnar Stockton more time to distribute the ball. But what I do think this Alabama team does well is defend the run. At all levels of their defense, the linebacker play comes up, plays well. The safeties are good at defending the run. Even their edge rushers. LT Overton is one of the best run defending edges in college football. I like the secondary of Alabama as well. I think their corners and Xavier Brown, and they've got some really nice players in this secondary. This is going to be a really fun matchup. Like we said in the intro, Alabama has had Georgia's number in the regular season, but when it gets to postseason play, this is where Kirby Smart has thrived. And like I said, I was low on Georgia coming into the year. I didn't think this was going to be a playoff team, but with their ability to run the football, their ability to stop the run, I think they are playing some of the best ball in the entire country right now. And with what we've seen from Alabama at times, the offensive line has struggled against pressure. We know that Kirby Smart is so good at designing different blitzes. I think that this game favors Georgia. Not to mention it's in Atlanta, so it is a pseudo home game for the Dogs. I think this is going to be a really close matchup. I think this is a chess match between two very well coached, very good programs, but ultimately I am going to lean Georgia in this one. I've got the Bulldogs winning 24-21, and I think Georgia is going to win the SEC yet again, and Kirby Smart is going to continue to prove why he is the best coach in the country. This defense I still think has the pieces, but they have playmakers that I don't think they had last season, and ultimately I think I trust the line a little bit more than Alabama's, which will be the difference maker. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Comment down below who you think comes out on top, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.